to you. You ready?
Yes, sir. All right. Good afternoon. Well, hey, good morning, I should say, Dr. Mayfield, and just excited here to have an opportunity to be able to interview you live for the Real Estate Biz Expo. There are a lot of people here in the audience that are really just, just they've already had a little bit of information about you, and I'm just excited to let them hear the rest through our interview. And I appreciate you and thank you again for taking the time to be able to, share some information with our audience. I know your vehicle here, Comprotax, the booth is here, your team is here. But I always love about what we do at the Real Biz Expo is always about the visionary and the mind that's behind the opportunity or the program or the service that they're going to see and things that they engage with here at the expo. That's very important for me to be able to share with them where it came from, why it's so important that they understand how to utilize it, and what the visionary had to say when they created it. So with that being said, I just want to welcome you to this interview and thank you again. And then, just introduce you all or allow you to introduce yourself to the audience. And then from there, we can go into a couple of questions that I have for you. So if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, Larick. I want to thank you for your vision in trying to inspire young entrepreneurs and older ones as well to be an asset to us as a people. I've always admired you from afar and also close. We've been knowing each other sort of a long time, and you are sort of one of my young heroes. Well, anyway, I got started in the business at a very young age. And the reason I was part of a civil rights movement out of my hometown, Bogalusa, Louisiana, whereas it was not a non-violent movement. It was a movement that protected the marchers from the Klans in our area, as well as across 3-4 southern states. It's called the Deacons for Defense. So as a young lad, I left school at an age around 15, 16 years of age and joined that movement. And as a result, I ended up with a FBI dossier on me and I couldn't get a job. So I went off to Texas and became, and got married at 17 and a half. And that marriage lasted for 47 and a half years until my late wife passed away in 2012. But because of my involvement in the movement, I couldn't get a job. And so I started one myself because of the information I got from my grandfather who told me, Jack, he called me Jack, anything that you want to become, you can become because you're made in the image of God. And that's not a physical image, it is an image of creativity. And you have that same power. So you're not locked in like animals are. You're able to adjust and adapt. So I adapted and I started my first business at age 21. That was a service station garage. I went back to school and got a certificate in, it was on the MDA program and learned to fix automatic transmissions. So as a result, I was able to start a business at age 21 and it became a successful business. But I went into the insurance business about 6, 7 years later, because I bought my first home, first new car with that business. And I went into the insurance business and started as a field representative and went all the way up to the area vice president over 3 states, all without having a high school diploma or having a college degree. But I never dropped out of school. I never dropped out of learning. I have a lifetime commitment to learning. And that's one of the keys to being successful.
Yeah, no, that is so amazing. And I do remember, and like you said, we go back, I think it's over a decade now. And I do remember the first time I heard how early it was that you started a business. That was just inspiring to me just to hear that you had done that early. And then the continuation of building. And even to this day, the part that impresses me the most is how hard you work even to the day. Not hard work like harder, not smarter, but just being a hardworking entrepreneur. It reminds me of Dr. Frazier, like you too, you actually do the work and you teach people how to be okay with doing the work. And you still take time for yourself, and you still had an opportunity to be able to love and love your wife and the time that you was here for 47 and a half years. And I think that's just a great balance. And a lot of times people don't know how to be a hard worker and still be a great family man at the same time. And I think that's just very commendable. So I just kind of want to point that out. And before we go into the other questions here. So but yeah, that to me is just so amazing. So great job on that.
And the key to a happy life is having a balance. My art, one of the principles, one of the 7 principles is balance. And that's why I included my family, my wife in my business. As a matter of fact, my 2 daughters and my son work in my business, as well as some of my nieces and nephews.
Wow.
Because I believe in the collective. And but if you have a balance, so as I move around the country, I include my family with me, and I have my vacations around my business. I'm able to have a tax deduction to play.
Wow, that is, I don't know about the rest of the audience, but I definitely took a lot away from that, because my wife and I are always trying to find what that balance looks like, and herself being a new entrepreneur and myself being an entrepreneur for pretty much all my life, we try to find a balance where I'm not overworking her in the business and then not taking away from something as personal as a vacation. But I love what you shared as far as it being an opportunity to be a write-off, still have fun, but because we're working together as a business, to be able to carry the 2 together, and you do know when to shut it down and just have a moment just to smile and then just relax. But then also knowing it's a business trip, you're going to get a chance to write it off. And a lot of people don't necessarily leverage their opportunity that way when they travel. So I think that's huge. That's a great tax tip coming from ComproTax.
Yes.
You slipped that tax tip in there. Well, thank you. So one of the things I wanted the audience to know about you, because a lot of times people want to know, like, so what have you really done? Like, as far as they've had accountants, tax preparers, bookkeepers, but in this particular case, you're not just a tax preparer, bookkeeper, you're the CEO and founder of an innovation and various businesses that have allowed you to be successful over time. What was the most successful venture? And if you don't mind sharing, what type of revenue did you make from that business? Which one of all the things you've done?
Well, I've had a number of businesses I've started that I felt became successful, but then you outgrow certain things and move on. But my most successful business is ComproTax. But it was the other businesses that gave me the impetus to move into those areas. Because when I was in the agency building business and insurance business, where I was building agencies, there were some weeks, most weeks, I was making over $30,000 a week in overrides. And that was back in the 80s.
Wow.
And also, I've only had 2 homes. I built my first home when I was in the service station garage business. Then I moved into another home and in 1985. But I built all of my businesses prior to buying the home that I've been in for 30-something years.
Wow.
And for his businesses, I still own a share in 50% into a perpetual care cemetery in my hometown. I'm in the town I'm in now. And we started manufacturing vaults that we sold later. And I've been into the chair of a funeral home. I've started the company tax in 1982 as a result of the building of an insurance agency, and was able to work in the home office, not as an employee. I've never had a job in my life where I received a W-2, but I created my own jobs. And as a result, I've been able to help other folks become successful. And the key to anyone's success has to do with your inspiration and your perspiration, because you can be inspired and excited, but if you're not putting the work in with some discipline, you're not going to make it. And you cannot not underestimate the fact of the power of your mind. God didn't make a human being to be led by instinct like animals. They are driven by their ability to create. You may not fly like a bird, but you can build machines that can go fly higher and faster than a bird. You may not can swim like a fish, but you can build submarines and vessels that can go deeper than the fish, because your mind is not locked in to just instinct. You have the ability to create. That's why I think one time Marcus Garvey said that when you refuse to think or don't think, you sink lower than an animal, because animals have instinct in order to survive. But you as a human being have a mind that creates. And I was able to understand that principle very, very early. So obstacles is just a stepping stone to the blessing. Most folks run away when they run into problems, but problems are created to see if you're worthy. And you continue, and you have angels sent your way all the time. When I say angels, there are folk you meet that you might not have ever met that add value to your life. So don't underestimate the value of the people that you meet. So don't be afraid to meet people and talk to folk, because human beings are supposed to communicate with one another. That's why when I'm in a crowd, I'm going to speak to everybody, whether they speak back or not.
Yeah.
Never know where your blessing come from.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. You dropped a lot of nuggets in there. I mean, you actually combined two of my biggest questions, and it was the success side, and then the keys to success. I got a chance to get a little bit of each out of that. Well, actually, a lot out of both of them. So that is awesome. Thank you for that. I don't know what the audience is thinking right now, but I know they have to be feeling excited about what you're sharing with them, because it all feels so, it just feels so authentic and real. And I really appreciate the transparency and the deeper dive that you're taking. I love the part about the instincts, because I had never really looked at it that way, is that they are, as animals, by them being instinct led and us having the ability to develop and utilize our knowledge and our mind to be able to create something that can function equal to and greater than animals. So as much as we're fascinated by them, we still have the ability to create something that can replicate and then go even beyond their actual abilities. And that makes us very different. And I took away that the moment that you don't give yourself that credit is the moment that you sink lower than an animal, because you're not utilizing even your instincts. You're below that just by not using your mind and not using your creativity. So that really, I believe I want the audience to even take away from that, to just always be on fire for your gifts and utilize them at all times, and use your mind while you have it to create. You know, I always say, Einstein said, the imagination is a preview of what is yet to come. And that's where all things are created. My mentor used to say, all things are created two times, once in the invisible and then second in the physical. So if you haven't thought it, then you won't create it. So I really, really, really like those nuggets.
You're absolutely correct. And I've heard my good friend, Dr. Joe Dudley say, don't have a birth control mind, which means that you come up with an idea that is like an impregnation of your dream. And then you let friends kill it by doubting what you can do, and then let your family kill it. But you don't hold true to it, so you give it a birth control by doubting yourself. And so you abort the baby, the creativity. So don't go around aborting your ideas. You gotta believe in them and work feverishly to make them happen, because you got the ability to speak things into existence. And they happen. You do it all the time, because the problem is most folks speak negativity. And they create a negative life and wonder what's wrong. You gotta exit yourself from folks who are negative, you know, and that doesn't mean you get away from your family, because most of them, you know, they mean well, but they have negative ideas because the environment created that.
Right.
Don't engage in it.
Yes. Yes. No, that's definitely powerful. Absolutely. And that leads me right into my next question. Speaking of something that was created and was not aborted, CompoTax. So here's the opportunity for you to share, because I know what you shared with me. I know what I've witnessed, but I would like you to share with the audience here at the Real Estate Biz Expo, what's inside of CompoTax? Because there's a lot of other tax preparation companies, but I know what's different about it. But I'd like for you to share what you dropped in it that's so special that every entrepreneur should look at, you know, look at the company from a service and also from an opportunity perspective.
First of all, CompoTax is a facilitator of entrepreneurship using tax and bookkeeping as the process. Now, for you to be successful in business, you must understand that there are financial things you need to know, like your balance sheet, your financial statement, how to read those. Whether you do them or not, you must understand the fundamentals. So CompoTax was founded on an idea of not only providing a person a way to make money doing taxes and bookkeeping, but also to understand how to read balance sheets and understand entrepreneurship and business. Business is a science. I mean, it's not something you just go in. For example, if you are a tax preparer, that's your skill, what you do, but that's not your business. Your business is about people marketing and developing, and about developing yourself. Because the biggest problem with most folk is that the deficit lies in themselves. For example, if you are not following your books, you don't know whether you're making money or not. You don't know what product is selling better and what you're doing wrong. You must always take stock and inventory in what it is you're doing as a person and as a business person. And in managing your time, when a lot of people say, I don't want to work for anybody, I want to work for myself. Why? Say, I just don't want to work for nobody. Well, if you don't want to work for nobody, that's not the reason you go into business, because when you trade one employer for many employers, like the people who you have as clients become your employer, and you're working for them. So you must understand that you add value to their life, and the value can be very extensive. So the key that CompoTax has is that it develops entrepreneurship. You may not like doing taxes. Most folk don't. I don't love it, but I'm very good at it, and I love having people. My love is the fact that I'm able to help people to save money in their business and their taxes. That's my love. But you gotta also learn that your knowledge is the key to always learning, but always learning about people and managing your time. Because most people end up going out of business because they don't manage their time properly. For example, if you wake up in the morning, what's your schedule? Do you know what you're doing this hour, the next hour, and the hours to come that you plan out? Are they productive hours? Or are you just wasting time? Are they billable hours? What I mean by that, are you making money each time? You see, because you can waste a lot of time and make no money and wonder what happened.
Mm,
So we teach at CompuTax how to manage your time, how to use taxes as a benefit, how to learn people, how to learn about yourself, how to become a strong business person in every respect, because you are being coached and mentored, because nobody can make it by themselves. You got to have a coach and mentoring system. To pay for a coach and a mentor costs a lot of money, but as a total package, it comes in the whole product that we have. That's just the virtual tax office that we have, the whole package. You can go online, look at that, what is that called? Becomeacomputaxpro.com. And you can see a virtual tax office, and you're going to get more than just doing taxes, but you're going to get a way in which to call on someone to help you in many, many areas of business. And then that may not be your dream business. Most folks don't have this dream business, but it's the product or the learning you need in order to make your dream business work.
Yeah, and I really, that's the part that really got me going, and I really was like, you know what, when we re-engaged more recently to start building on the tools that I'm excited that we'll be rolling out to the industry together to simplify the bookkeeping space so that people can even be more excited to be able to step into such a scary area, which is managing their finance, their taxes, their books, and most importantly, what you just shared, managing their time. But when it said compro, meaning what? Complete professional?
Professional, right.
That's huge. And even more, every time I hear you talk about it, I get more excited, because what I basically took away from that, what I believe the audience is taking away, and what I want them to make sure they're taking away, is that more than a tax preparation business, or more than a bookkeeping software, like some of the other tools that are out there, more than an accountant, you designed a system with your 40+ years experience in entrepreneur and business, or it's longer than that. Wait a minute. Yeah, I guess 40, so what?
No, it was 40 years, 41, 42 years.
Okay, all right, I want to make sure I give you all of yours. But what you're saying is that this system is designed for entrepreneurs, people that want to be self-employed, to be able to replace their current employer with customers that will become their employer by teaching them the number one thing that they'll need to manage, which is themselves, time. People say time is money, but they don't realize when they mismanage their time that they're losing money, and they got in business to make money.
That's
so you're
right.
teaching them in the system the first thing, which is to learn how to manage your time. If you can manage your time, you're already making money. Employers, this is me summarizing it, are effective at managing our time because they tell us, be here by 8, you'll get off at 5, and we will pay you accordingly. If you get here later, you're subject to be fired, but you surely won't be paid for the hour you weren't here. And as entrepreneurs, we need to understand it works that way the same. So your system seems to teach the principles of that, the importance of that, and then it begins to teach you all the other stuff that it comes down to managing your business, right. Understanding how to do proper write-offs, what can be written off, right. The financials, and how to be able to understand and read them, not just solely because you love, I really got this part, that you love taxes. And you would say, a venture to say that most people didn't get up just loving to do taxes, but a lot of people love what taxes and understand how to manage them can do for people like yourself, to help them save money, to help them to be able to create more revenue out of their self-employed or out of their life and their efforts. And then also being able to just better understand that even if you go to utilize another tax professional, at least you're a good partner with that tax professional versus sitting back and not knowing what you should be holding or giving them or why.
That is correct.
I remember a gentleman that I wish I would have known about this back when I was in my early 30s, because I didn't know what I was giving to my tax preparer accountant. And I think he fell under some hard times. I want to forgive him, but I just leave it right in the middle because I never forget after finally getting all my paperwork together and not really knowing why he wanted what, giving it to him, didn't know to even keep a copy for myself. I gave him everything. And it was my first time bringing together all my taxes after making a lot of money. And I never forget him not answering the phone for days and days in a row. And I went up there to knock on the door, what was his office at one point, and he didn't answer. And I remember looking through the little door slot with a mail, and the room was empty, like in a movie. And I'm looking and I'm like, this dude is gone. And later I found that he just up and left town. And because something happened, I don't know what it was, but I remember thinking, man, like now I'm hearing what you're saying. This step reminds me of me being first empowered with my own tax and accounting basis of information.
Right.
To at least know enough to know what I'm giving to a professional versus just giving it to them and just hoping that they work it out. So that's what I love about it. And I love that the investment is under $1,000, I believe, right? I don't want to quote the number, but
Well, it's under 3,000. Depends on what level a person come in. It can be anywhere between 750 to 3,000, but it's a $15,000-$20,000 value with all
yeah,
of this involved. I want to add to your audience a little tidbit, and
yeah.
that is developing a mindset is key.
Hmm.
Having discipline, belief in your creative power, having desire to continually learn and improve. That's what I like about these conferences. Matter of fact, I never miss conferences that add value to my life.
Right.
And you got to spend money on education.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have a birth control mind, as I mentioned earlier. Do not be afraid to lead and also follow.
Yes.
Most folk have problems doing both. Recognize that you are made in the image of God. Behind every obstacle is a blessing, and you must go through the obstacle to get blessed.
Wow, that is deep. Wow, I hope you all got those nuggets. Listen, I'm going to be playing this video back over and over and over again. I'll probably play this in front of my Les Brown from now on. This is my new motivation. This is the buddy motivation right here. Yeah, that is so awesome. Thank you for those nuggets. And then I think you even shared at one point when we were dialoguing the amount of revenue that you had generated just in using these principles in one of your businesses. I think it was pretty up there.
Well, it was a little over 10 million a year.
Yeah, everybody, y'all hear that? So this isn't just the average, nothing against. I know there's everyone has their lane, but in the accountant and tax preparing industry, to be able to amass such a success as an entrepreneur, it's just that's just very impressive. And I like for people to hear that, because a lot of people don't sometimes see and believe that individuals can make the level of money. They're thinking about IBM or Apple computers, or when they hear such numbers. And that's great to hear a service-based entrepreneur can make that level of money.
But the thing I love about what we've been able to do as a group, because it's not an I, I as the component parts of a we. The we is the power. Is that we've been able to develop over 8 multi-millionaires to our company. Some are still with us, some are gone on, some are doing their own thing, some are into other kind of businesses, but the principles they learn and the coaching and development added value to their life and what they were doing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, no, that's always key. That's what I used to say. There's one organization I used to work with. They said it was a personal development program tied to a compensation plan. So that reminds me of what you're sharing there. It's like, this is going to change your life. And it just happens to be associated with a business and an opportunity there.
That's correct.
So yes, absolutely. One other thing, and then I want you to share what people should do next while they're here, because I know that your team is here and I want to make sure they can find them inside of this expo. And but you shared, and anything else you want to share. But I want, before I forget, I want to have you share with me that African proverb, because it just hit me. And I was like, I think about it all the time, but I want the audience to hear it from you directly.
Well, great. I'll be happy to. But we want to make sure that everyone visit the booth. There's a fantastic lady with our team, part of the educational team, by the way, Anita Rice, that is there, and she will guide you through the process as to what you need to do next. But the main thing is make up your mind to go places, make up your mind to move off of zero. I have a friend of mine, John Ray, got a book out called Get Off Zero. You got to move. And if you want to go to 1 or go to 2, go to 3, on up to 10 or 100, you got to move. And everything in God's universe is in motion. Everything that's not moving is dead. So the main thing is you got to be moving. But there's an African proverb that I live by, and that is, I am because you are. And because you are, therefore I am, means that I am nothing without you, and you are nothing without me. The power is in the we, not in the I.
That is so awesome. That is so powerful. I love every time you say that, and every time I read it, it just makes me, I've already been that type of person, but it just re-encourages me to remain that type of person. I know with the social distancing and all of the things that went as a result of the pandemic, that a lot of people kind of got into their islands, and they disconnected from one another. And this is just one step, having this expo, being live in person, to have people start getting back familiar with connecting with each other and getting back into the we game, so that they don't just be out there on an island by themselves. So I really, really appreciate that African proverb. And I want to make sure, because I don't think we touched on this, that you all know here in the audience today that CompoTax has two angles in which it works. It's very unique. One, it has a services side where you can meet with someone like Anita or anyone else that happens to be here, depending on what city we're in right now, that can help you get your taxes and your bookkeeping and your systems moving, so you can make a profitable business, being startup or being already moving and just need to reorganize. And the other side is there's an opportunity for you to take the CompoTax business model, go through a series of trainings, and get certified to become a CompoTax independent representative. So you can now go out and empower other people to be able to do what you've had done for yourself as a customer. So you can, in essence, go out and be a tax preparer, a bookkeeper, empower people to understand how to manage their time better, and all the things that you heard Dr. Mayfield say today. Dr. Mayfield, if you want to add anything that I may have missed there.
No, you covered it very well. The key is CompoTax is a facilitator of affiliates in the tax and bookkeeping business. We are give you the big company feel that you may be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And you're able to have the power of what we can provide, through our structure and our systems. Because McDonald's, for example, any franchise have a system. That's what they sell. And we have a system that you don't have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for, that can allow you to be very successful in your business. And this model can even be duplicated once you learn it into a business that you may have a desire to become. We have a hybrid kind of system. It looks like it's a little multi-level. That's not it. It looks like it's direct selling. That's not it. It looks like it is social media, but that's not it. It's all of those things collectively. And one can choose the most fit them the best, whereas the marketing aspect of the business.
Yeah, I like that part.
The main thing is you got to work on yourself. You got to be with folk that's going to give you the aid and guidance as a mentor and give you the spiritual guidance necessary, because we are all spirit. This body is only the house that carries around the most essential part of us, and that is our spirit.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I really like how you broke that down. And like you said, hey, for some people, they may set up and become a capital tax professional and work as a general bookkeeper, work as an independent. Some may grow up and say, hey, I want to set up an office and build an entire team and be able to make money working with that team. And then some may just go out and just directly sell the service and keep selling it from a direct sales model. But whatever your flavor is, you can curtail the model to fit. I like that.
Right.
Yes,
It has all the pieces.
yes. There's no have tos and must dos. You can
That's
work it
right.
the way you want to work it. All
There you
right.
go.
No, well, hey, Dr. Mayfield, it's been an awesome time speaking with you and interviewing. Is there anything that you want to share in closing? I know you shared where the book.
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to congratulate everybody that's there, because in order to succeed in any business, whether you're a neophyte or someone that's well experienced, you must go to conferences, learn from one another, you must share. And I'm just happy that I'm able to be in the company by way of this virtual medium in your presence, and let my spirit come to you and let your spirit come to me.
Absolutely. Thank you all. And I know everybody want to give you a round of applause right now, so I'm going to have them do that, even though you can't hear them because this is pre-recorded. But I definitely want to just, before you get off, I just want everybody to just give the loudest round of applause. I'm going to record it. Give me a second. I'm going to record it. And I got it. Now, everybody at the same time, give us the biggest round of applause so I can send it to Dr. Mayfield, because this is the part that he'll be waiting on. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Mayfield.
Thank you.
And thank you for spending this time with us. And we look forward to hosting you live in one of our cities. I know you're in Texas, and we'll be coming through with the Cleveland with the
All
Real
right,
Estate
my brother.
Business Expo. All
Thank
right.
you. Peace
Thank
and
you.
blessings.
Thank you.